Have you ever been talking to a woman and felt that she might be interested but couldn't quite read her? Today, I'm going to take you behind the curtain of female psychology, showing you the subtle signs that she's intrigued, curious, or drawn to you. And trust me, these are the cues most men completely miss. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll start noticing signals that feel almost like secret messages sent just for you. Understanding these signals isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate anyone. It's about becoming more socially aware, more emotionally intelligent, and better equipped to recognize when genuine interest exists. Because here's the truth: women communicate interest differently than men often expect. While you're waiting for obvious declarations, she's already sending dozens of subtle cues that reveal exactly how she feels. The question is, are you paying attention? By the end, you'll be able to spot interest, curiosity, and attraction in ways that most people don't even realize. And the best part? You don't have to guess. You'll know. You'll walk away with a psychological framework that turns confusion into clarity and uncertainty into confidence. Subtle attention signals. The first signs are all about attention. How she listens, how she reacts to your words, even the little things she remembers. These are all clues that your presence matters to her. Does she laugh at your jokes more than usual, or tilt her head slightly when you speak? These tiny gestures show that her mind is engaged, and her attention is starting to focus on you. But let's go deeper. Notice if she puts her phone away when you're talking. Does she face you directly? Not just with her body, but with her feet. Foot direction is one of the most honest indicators of where someone's attention truly lies, because we rarely think to control it consciously. Psychologically, attention is a form of validation, and when she gives it freely, it's her way of signaling interest. In our distracted modern world, undivided attention has become one of the rarest and most valuable gifts someone can give. When she offers it to you consistently, she's telling you something important without saying a word. Pay attention to her eyes as well. Does she maintain eye contact longer than necessary? Does she glance at you when she thinks you're not looking? The eyes reveal what the mouth often won't. Studies in social psychology show that prolonged eye contact triggers the release of phenylethylamine, the same chemical associated with the feeling of falling in love. When she holds your gaze, her brain chemistry is literally changing in response to you. Another crucial element is whether she remembers details from previous conversations. Did you mention your favorite band 3 weeks ago and now she's bringing it up? That's not coincidence. That's her mind replaying your conversations, thinking about you when you're not around. Memory is selective, and we tend to remember information about people we find interesting or attractive. When she recalls small details about your life, it means you've occupied mental real estate in her mind. Next, we'll explore how the way she mirrors your behavior can reveal hidden attraction. This is where things get fascinating because most of this happens completely outside of conscious awareness. Mirroring and body language. Have you noticed that some women unconsciously mirror your gestures, tone, or posture? This isn't random. It's a psychological signal. When she mirrors your behavior, it shows comfort, alignment, and a subconscious connection forming. Dark psychology teaches us that these unconscious cues are powerful indicators. When her movements subtly echo yours, her mind is creating a feeling of rapport and attraction without her even realizing it. This phenomenon is called the chameleon effect, and it's been extensively studied by social psychologists. When we like someone, when we feel connected to them, our brains automatically begin synchronizing our behaviors with theirs. Watch for these specific mirroring behaviors. Does she pick up her drink shortly after you do? When you lean back, does she follow suit a few seconds later? If you cross your legs, does she mirror the position? These aren't conscious decisions. They're automatic responses that indicate her nervous system is syncing with yours. Even more subtle are speech pattern mirrors. Listen to whether she starts using similar phrases, adopting your speaking pace, or matching your energy level. If you speak softly and she lowers her voice to match, that's mirroring. If you use a particular expression and she incorporates it into her vocabulary, that's a sign her mind is absorbing your influence because she's receptive to you. The most interesting aspect of mirroring is that it creates a feedback loop. When she mirrors you, it makes you feel more comfortable around her, which makes you more relaxed and authentic, which makes her feel more comfortable, which increases the mirroring. It's a beautiful dance of nonverbal communication that builds connection without a single word about feelings being spoken. One advanced technique to test this: try deliberately shifting your posture or gestures and observe whether she follows. If you lean forward and she does too within the next 30 seconds, or if you touch your face and she mirrors it shortly after, you've just confirmed active mirroring, a strong indicator of interest and connection. And there's one trick with mirroring that can completely change how she feels in your presence. But first, let's talk about conversation, because the way she engages in dialogue reveals volumes about her interest level. Another sensitive signal is how she engages in conversation. Does she ask questions about you? Does she dive into personal topics or share her experiences? This is more than friendliness. This is a psychological invitation to connect. When a woman shares personal stories or seeks your opinion, she's testing the waters of emotional intimacy. Pay attention. These are signals of intrigue and trust forming. But let's break this down further, because not all conversation engagement is created equal. Notice the depth of her questions. Is she asking surface-level questions like, "What do you do?" Or is she going deeper? "What made you choose that career? What are you passionate about?" Deep questions indicate genuine curiosity and a desire to understand who you are beneath the surface. When someone is truly interested, they don't just want to know what you do. They want to know why, what drives you, what makes you uniquely you. Self-disclosure is equally revealing. Psychology research shows that we tend to match the level of intimacy in our conversations. If she's sharing personal information, hopes, fears, or meaningful experiences from her past, she's inviting you into her inner world. This is a privileged space that she doesn't grant to everyone. When she volunteers information about her family, her dreams, her vulnerabilities, she's signaling trust and hoping you'll reciprocate with equal openness. Another key indicator is whether she keeps conversations going. Does she ask follow-up questions? When there's a natural pause, does she introduce a new topic rather than letting the conversation die? People who want to maintain connection will work to sustain dialogue. If every time you speak, she finds a way to extend the exchange, she's telling you she doesn't want the interaction to end. Watch for what I call callback humor, when she references something funny that happened between you earlier in the conversation or even days before. This shows she's been mentally reviewing your interactions and she's creating an inside language that belongs only to the two of you. Shared references and inside jokes are powerful bonding mechanisms that create a sense of us versus the world. Also notice if she brings you into her future, even casually. Comments like, "You'd love this restaurant," or "We should check out that movie," or "You'd get along with my friend," are soft ways of imagining you in her life beyond the present moment. When someone's interested, they naturally begin including you in their mental projections of the future. You'll want to notice the subtle timing in her responses. This next cue is all about that, and it's one of the most revealing signals in the digital age. Response timing and interaction. The way she responds to messages, comments, or casual conversation matters. Quick, thoughtful, or playful responses indicate engagement. Delays, short replies, or minimal effort might mean disinterest. Psychologically, humans are wired to respond faster to people they find intriguing. Her interaction patterns reveal whether she's drawn to you, even if she's careful not to overcommit verbally. But this requires nuance because response timing isn't always straightforward. Consistent response patterns matter more than individual message timing. If she typically responds within minutes or hours and maintains that pattern, it shows you're a priority in her attention hierarchy. However, be aware that some women intentionally delay responses to avoid appearing too eager, even when they are interested. The key is looking at the quality of the responses alongside the timing. When she does respond, notice the effort level. Is she giving you one-word answers, or is she writing paragraphs? Does she ask questions back, or does she let conversations die? A woman who's interested will invest energy into her responses. She'll give you material to work with, create opportunities for continued dialogue, and show enthusiasm through her word choice and tone. Look for what I call non-necessary communication, messages that serve no practical purpose except to maintain connection. Good morning texts, sharing memes or articles that made her think of you, updating you about her day when you didn't ask. These are all signs that you're occupying her mental space and she wants to maintain the connection even when there's no practical reason to communicate. Pay attention to her digital body language too. Does she use emojis, exclamation points, or expressive language when texting you? These are attempts to convey warmth and personality through text, compensating for the lack of vocal tone and facial expressions. When someone types in a flat, minimal style, it often indicates emotional distance or disinterest. Here's an advanced insight. Notice if her response patterns change over time. If she's initially cautious but gradually becomes more responsive, more open, and more frequent in her communication, that trajectory indicates growing comfort and interest. Conversely, if someone starts enthusiastic but gradually becomes less responsive, that's usually a signal of waning interest, regardless of what they might say verbally. Next, we'll explore how physical proximity and small gestures act as subconscious indicators of interest. This is where biology and psychology intersect in fascinating ways. Subtle signs like leaning in, standing closer than usual, or lightly touching an object near you can all indicate comfort and attraction. It's not overt. These are subconscious cues that her mind is aligning with yours. Dark psychology highlights that these small, seemingly random gestures are actually her mind's way of testing connection. The closer she positions herself, the more comfortable and interested she is. But let's explore the nuances of proxemics, the study of personal space and physical distance. Every person has invisible boundaries around their body. Intimate space, 0 to 18 inches. Personal space, 18 inches to 4 feet. Social space, 4 to 12 feet. And public space, beyond 12 feet. When someone allows you into their intimate or close personal space, or when they voluntarily enter yours, they're signaling trust and comfort. If she stands or sits closer to you than necessary, that's her body declaring interest that her words might not yet express. Watch for what researchers call grooming gestures when she's around you. Does she play with her hair, adjust her clothing, or check her appearance? These self-touches indicate self-awareness and a desire to present well for you. They're subtle indicators that your opinion of her matters, and she wants to appear attractive in your eyes. Accidental touches that aren't quite accidental are another powerful signal. Her hand brushing yours, her knee touching yours when seated, her shoulder against yours in a crowded space. These incidental contacts are often subconscious tests to see how you respond to physical connection. If these touches linger a moment longer than necessary, or if they happen repeatedly, they're deliberate on a subconscious level. Notice her orientation toward you in group settings. In a room full of people, whose direction is she facing? If her body consistently orients toward you, even when she's talking to someone else, that's a powerful nonverbal signal. We naturally orient our bodies toward what we find most interesting or attractive in our environment. The removal of barriers is another positive sign. Does she move her purse from between you? Does she uncross her arms when you approach? These are opening gestures that indicate receptivity and welcome. Conversely, crossed arms, positioned objects between you, or turning away are closing gestures that suggest discomfort or disinterest. Up next is something most men completely miss: the tone and playfulness of her voice. This is where attraction becomes almost musical. Vocal cues and playfulness. The tone, pitch, and playfulness in her voice are powerful indicators of attraction. Light teasing, laughter, or playful comments signal engagement and comfort. Her mind is communicating subtly. She enjoys your presence and wants to see how far she can connect. Research in evolutionary psychology suggests that women often modulate their voice pitch when speaking to men they find attractive, sometimes going slightly higher to emphasize femininity. But more importantly than pitch is warmth. Does her voice soften when she speaks to you? Is there a smile in her voice even when you can't see her face? Laughter is one of the most reliable indicators of interest, but context matters. Is she laughing at genuinely funny things, or is she laughing at statements that aren't particularly humorous? When someone is attracted to you, they tend to laugh more easily at your jokes and comments, because laughter is a way of signaling enjoyment and encouraging continued interaction. Playful teasing is a sophisticated form of flirtation. When she gently mocks you, challenges you, or engages in banter, she's creating a private dynamic between you. Teasing requires comfort and creates intimacy, because it operates on the assumption that you can handle it and won't take offense. It's actually a compliment disguised as criticism. Listen for vocal mirroring as well. Does she match your energy level? If you speak with enthusiasm, does she meet your excitement? If you're calm and mellow, does she match that tone? This vocal synchronization indicates her nervous system is attuning to yours, creating harmony and connection. Pay attention to how she says your name. Does she use it often in conversation? There's something intimate about hearing your name, and people who are interested tend to use names more frequently. The tone she uses when saying your name can be particularly revealing. Warmth, softness, or playfulness in how she addresses you directly are all positive indicators. Finally, we'll combine all these cues to help you read her interest almost like a map. This is where everything comes together into a clear picture. Second, layering the signals. Individually, each of these behaviors tells you something, but the real insight comes from combining them. Attention, mirroring, conversation engagement, response timing, proximity, and vocal cues. When all of these align, it's not guesswork. It's a clear psychological signal that she's interested. Dark psychology isn't about manipulation here. It's about understanding her mind so you can respond appropriately and build attraction consciously. Think of these signals like musical notes. One note alone doesn't make a melody, but when multiple notes play together, you hear a song. Similarly, when you observe multiple indicators of interest occurring simultaneously and consistently, you're reading a clear message of attraction. The key is consistency over time. Anyone might display one or two of these signals occasionally for various reasons that have nothing to do with romantic interest. But when you see multiple signals appearing repeatedly across different contexts and situations, that's when you can feel confident about her level of interest. Context always matters. A woman might display some of these behaviors in a professional setting without romantic interest, or she might be naturally friendly and warm with everyone. The question isn't whether she displays these behaviors at all, but whether she displays them more intensely, more frequently, or more consistently with you, compared to how she interacts with others. Trust your intuition, but verify it against observable patterns. Your gut feeling combined with these psychological insights creates a powerful tool for reading interest accurately. When your intuition says she's interested, and you can point to specific behavioral evidence across multiple categories, you're probably right. Remember that interest exists on a spectrum. She might be mildly curious, genuinely intrigued, or deeply attracted. The intensity and frequency of these signals will indicate where on that spectrum she falls. Early-stage interest looks different from established attraction, and you should calibrate your interpretation accordingly. Finally, understand that recognizing these signals is only the first step. What you do with this information matters even more. The goal isn't to catch someone being interested in you. It's to recognize mutual attraction so you can move forward with confidence, clarity, and respect. These insights should empower you to take appropriate action, not to overthink or manipulate situations. If you've been paying attention, you now know how to spot subtle signs of interest: attention, mirroring, conversation depth, timing, proximity, and vocal cues. These are the hidden keys to female psychology that most men never notice. But knowledge without application is just entertainment. Take what you've learned here and observe these patterns in your real interactions. Start noticing, start recognizing, and start responding with confidence when you see genuine interest. The ability to read these signals doesn't just help you recognize when someone is interested, it also helps you avoid wasting time on situations where interest doesn't exist. It's about clarity in both directions, saving you from confusion, rejection, and missed opportunities. Remember, these psychological insights work because they're based on genuine human behavior patterns, not manipulation tactics. When you understand how people naturally communicate interest, you become more socially aware, more emotionally intelligent, and more capable of building authentic connections. If you found this useful, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And if you want to dive even deeper into the secrets of human behavior and attraction, check out our other videos. There's a whole world of wisdom waiting for you. Understanding human psychology isn't just about romance. It's about navigating all of your relationships with greater awareness, empathy, and effectiveness. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Now go out there and start noticing what you've been missing. The signals are all around you. You just needed to know what to look for.